What's good, my people? Welcome back to EMGM Sports. I'm your boy Enzo. I hope everyone is doing well. Now, today's video, I want to talk about my boy Errol Spence, man. What the hell has happened to Errol Spence? He's been keeping a low profile. Do you know what I mean? His last fight was obviously back in 2023, July 2023, when he went for Undisputed against Terrence Crawford. And we already know the result. We know in that fight, Errol Spence was battered and bruised, outclassed, and eventually stopped by the great Terrence Crawford. But since then, I don't know what's happened to Errol Spence, man. Listen, for me, Errol Spence is a phenomenal fighter. I really believe that he's a great fighter, talent, massive talent, yeah. And before the Terrence Crawford fight, he was doing well. He's had some great fights, man. Danny Garcia, Kell Brook, do you know what I mean? Who else did he fought? Mickey Garcia, to name a few fights. He had a great run, do you know what I mean? He was winning by KO, TKO, unanimous decisions. Overall, yeah, before that Terrence Crawford fight, he was a perfect fighter. Do you know what I mean? He had everything. He had the jab, he had the aggressiveness, do you know what I mean? The tendency to just move forward and just beat up their opponent, yeah, with the body shots and just break them down. And you know what? Everyone leading into that Terrence Crawford fight, we all thinking, you know what? It's going to be a classic here. This is going to be a 50-50 fight. Do you know what I mean? Both fighters are going to match each other. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be crazy. It's not going to be an easy fight here. Oh my God. It was the opposite. It was a mismatch. It was all one-sided. Terrence Crawford just came out on top and just showed his class. Do you know what I mean? He showed that Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence are not on the same level. Do you know what I mean? Terrence Crawford was levels above Errol Spence, but that still doesn't diminish the greatness of Errol Spence. Do you know what I mean? And this is what makes it sad. Do you know what I mean? When I look at Errol Spence, not fighting for what? Over what? What is it, a year? What, he fought back in July 2023. We are now in November. We're just entering December. Blood. Do you know what I mean? He hasn't fought in almost, a year, 4 months, almost a year and a half he hasn't fought for. And that's sad. That's a sad situation. Obviously, look, there might be various factors, a lot of reasons why he hasn't fought. Yeah, it could be issues with the promoters, managers, or whatever. Or it could be the fact that Errol Spence himself is just not ready to come back. Now, I forgot the fact that he was meant to come back and fight. There were rumors that he was meant to fight some next boxer or something like that, but it never materialized, you know what I mean? And he actually put out a tweet that he doesn't know what the actual plans is. He doesn't know when he's going to come back. And that's sad, do you know what I mean? I really feel like that fight against Terrence Crawford, it really had a bad effect on him. Do you know what I mean? I feel like Errol Spence is one of those fighters where he was undefeated. Do you know what I mean? He always thought yo, I'm bigger than Terrence Crawford. Do you know what I mean? I belong in this welterweight division. I'm the king. I'm the guy. I'm bigger. And obviously, Terrence Crawford was coming up from the lower divisions. I think Errol Spence thought, look, I could bully this guy. Do you know what I mean? If we get in the ring there, I could bully this guy. I could break him down. Eventually, I'll knock him out. I'll finish him. Do you know what I mean? But the thing is, everything that he probably fought, Terrence Crawford did to him. Do you know? And it was sad. It was really sad the way he was exposed. His boxing skills were exposed. But it's not the end of the world, man. It's not the end of the world. And that's the problem that I have with a lot of these fighters. Do you know what I mean? Especially in this generation. My generation is the O means so much to them. They're literally, as soon as they lose their first fight, it's oh my God, it's the end of the world. Nothing else matters. Seriously, are you okay? Listen, just because you lost one fight, it's not the end of the world. And also, let's look at who Errol Spence actually lost against. He lost against Terrence Crawford. Do you know what I mean? One of the best fighters of all time in any generation. You can put Terrence Crawford in any generation and he will still come out as one of the best of all time. Do you know what I mean? So there's no shame in losing to Terrence Crawford. Do you know what I mean? So I'm surprised by this long layoff that a super talented fighter like Errol Spence is having. Do you know what I mean? By the time he gets back in the ring, it will probably be almost 2 years since he last fought. Do you know what I mean? He might be going to the gym. He might be still training, going for a run, probably sparring again. You know what I mean? He's doing all of that, all the things that boxers do. Do you know what I mean? To keep fit. But he's going to have so much ring rust. He hasn't been back there. And the boxing landscape's changed. Do you know what I mean? Riyadh season is here. Turkey Al Sheikh. There's so much money. There's so many hungry fighters out there in the welterweight division, in the 154-pound. Like, there's a lot going on. Do you know what I mean? I just don't want Errol Spence to look back at his career and say, you know what? I have some regrets here. You know what I mean? I should have went again. You know, like after that Terrence Crawford fight, I should have gone again. You know, like I should have had that courage to just come back. Do you know what I mean? More determined and have that fight quickly. Because I just feel like it's almost like he's been feeling sorry for himself this whole time. It's almost like Errol Spence could not believe he was defeated. He was badly beaten by Terence Crawford. But these things can happen. It's boxing. We've seen so many fighters in the past lose. You know what I mean? Some of the greatest fighters have lost, man. Roy Jones has lost. So many fighters. Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield, Muhammad Ali. Do you know what I mean? Oscar De La Hoya. Like, a lot of fighters have lost. Do you know what I mean? A lot of fighters that are lost. Just because you've lost doesn't mean it's the end of the world. You know? And you know what? I blame Floyd Money Mayweather, yeah, for creating this illusion that it's all about the O, like it's all about staying undefeated. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously with Floyd, he made it his marketing strategy staying undefeated because Floyd knew by staying undefeated, a lot of people will hate him. He knew a lot of people will not like him and they'll buy the tickets to just come and see him lose. That was the whole marketing strategy, his whole plan by Floyd Money Mayweather. Do you know what I mean? But other fighters, you don't need to follow that same blueprint, man. Seriously, losing a couple of fights in your resume, like in your career, is not that much a bigger deal. Some of the biggest fighters of all time, some of the fighters that we cherish and we love, they've lost multiple fights, man. We still love them. Do you know what I mean? It's all about who you fought. Do you know what I mean? Who did you fight? Show us who you fought. If you fought the best guys and you came up short, that's fine. We get it, man. We understand it. That is completely fine. Like, anyone can have a bad night. Do you know what I mean? The fact is, if you lose to some random journey guy, like that's when we might question your resume. But if we look at your resume and you lost to some of the best fight in your era, in your generation, man, no problem. It's fine. As long as you gave your best, you gave us entertaining fights, we'll still have respect for you, we still love you. Do you know what I mean? So that's it. That's what I want for Errol Spence, man. I want him to come back, man. Like there's so much talent like in that guy, yeah, that he should come back. He should come back and have a few fights. Why is he 33 years of age? He's getting on a bit now. Do you know what I mean? He's getting on a bit, but he still has like 3 or 4 fights in him, yeah? If he gets back in the ring and he starts fighting like 2 or 3 times a year. But the thing is, a lot of these fighters now, they're fighting once a year. Even Terence Crawford, like, he's only had 1 fight since he defeated Errol Spence. So these new generation, they're having 1 fight a year. Like, what is going on? That needs to change, surely, man. Listen, if you're an active fighter, you're young, you're healthy, why are you fighting once a year? I understand, obviously, they're making way more money now, but come on. Have 2 or 3 fights a year. Do you know what I mean? But listen, I don't know. I don't know what's going on in boxing, man. There's just too much politics. But Errol Spence, listen, man, I need you to come back. The boxing, I feel like the boxing world needs Errol Spence. There's way too much talent to be wasted for him to just be sitting on a bench for all this time. Do you know what I mean? Listen, I understand going into that fight against Terence Crawford, there was a lot of mitigating circumstances going on. Like, he was involved in an accident before that, a car crash, which was a horror, absolute horror. How he survived that was a miracle. Do you know what I mean? It was a miracle. It just shows, man, Errol Spence is blessed. He's blessed by God, man. He's truly blessed. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I just understand how, I kind of get it, how he's feeling, where he was involved in a car crash. He just never looked the same. Even his demeanor in the fight against Terence Crawford when they was in the changing room, it just looked off. You know what I mean? He just kind of looked off and everything like that. So maybe, you know, maybe there was a lot of things going on in his mind in terms of mental health, his well-being and everything like that. But listen, we can't take nothing away from Terence Crawford. You know what I mean? He went in there, handled business, showed his levels, and he did what he had to do in that fight. Do you know what I mean? Which it was just break down. Errol Spence outclassed him, beat him the hell up, and finished him. And the referee had to step in because the beating was that bad. Do you know? But I still want to see Errol Spence come back. I want to see him have at least 2 or 3 fights before he hangs up his gloves. But you know what? If he does decide to walk away from everything, I wouldn't blame him either. You know, because look, he's 33. If he feels like he's taking too much damage and his heart is just not in it no more, sometimes it's best for these fighters to just call it a day. You know, at least they still have their health in check. They're fine. They can go away, enjoy the rest of their life with their families. If that's what he wants to do, fine. But if he's still out there training and he really wants to get back in the ring, have a fight, come back. Whoever is welterweight or 154, junior middleweight or middleweight itself, come back, man. There's plenty of fights out there for him. So I just want to see Errol Spence come back, man. I don't want to see him waste his talent. But listen, man, I want to stop it there. You let me know, man. What should Errol Spence do next, man? Do you think he should just retire? The damage was too much against Terrence Crawford. Or do you want to see him come back? Because listen, at 33, he's not too old. He's not too young. He's still got a few more years left in him. Do you know what I mean? A few more fights. Do you want to see Errol Spence come back and showcase his talent again and try and get himself back to the top? Because that's where he belongs. Because he's a great fighter, you know? Let me know in the comments. Let's have that conversation. Once again, thank you so much for watching EMGM Sports. I really appreciate you. My name's Enzo. And if you're new to the channel, please don't forget, like, subscribe, and share the video. You're really going to help the channel to grow, man. I'll be back real soon with another one. Listen, stay blessed. Until then, peace.